On this episode, we're on day 3 and 4 of the Intrepid Moto trip, where we get to do a bit of off-road, get mobbed by a heap of school children, and just enjoy more of Indonesia's great roads. Hey everyone, welcome to Roads Voz. My name is Matt, and on this episode we're looking at days 3 and 4 of my Intrepid Moto trip. Now, before we get going, let's talk about gear I had for the bike. So my philosophy was to pack a lot of gear that I was planning on leaving behind. I took my old Oxford riding boots because if they broke, I was happy to leave them over there. I took some old dry rider pants because, well, they only just fit these days. And I took a few things that were non-negotiables that I planned on bringing home. So helmet-wise, I took the BMW Pure helmet. Quite simply, I didn't want to take my Shoei because it had all the communications gear and it just wasn't necessary on the ride. And this helmet was ideal for the type of riding we did, bit of off-roads, so it held up really well. And most importantly, it had a tinted screen that could come down just to help when you're getting a bit of glare or when you're riding into the sun. But this helmet was awesome. Also, the liner was easy to take out when I get back, because believe it, when you get back home, you're going to want to take all this stuff out and give it a good clean. With the jackets, you can't have them too thick. It is still quite warm over there. And the reason I've got this light on is to demonstrate the jacket. If you can see light coming through the jacket, that's thin enough. You want the thinnest summer jacket possible. You need something that's going to let a lot of air through, and this Alpine Stars summer jacket is awesome. As a backup, I also took my Oxford flannel jacket just in case this one got drenched through some rain. But in all honesty, by the end of the trip, I was just wearing some work pants and like a motocross style of shirt. Some of the guys wore the protective crash armor that you'd use on your motocross gear. I didn't. I was quite happy to accept the risk because I was more concerned if you dressed and get too hot. If you fatigue quickly, you're more likely to make a mistake. The two gloves I packed were my Segura leather gloves. These are the thinnest road gloves I have, and I was planning on just wearing these trail bike gloves when I went off-road. In actual fact, I spent 90% of the time just in these gloves because it got quite warm and I was almost tempted to ride without gloves, but these were a good compromise just to give you some sort of protection. So, was there anything I wish I'd taken? Well, absolutely. By the end of day 5, you are developing what I call monkey butt. As good as the bike is, you do start to get a bit of saddle soreness. So if I'd done this ride again, I'd definitely be packing an Airhawk seat, or if I don't have that, even bike shorts with the extra padding on the backside. It would just help with those last couple of days because by the end of the trip, I was feeling it. Anyway, onto the ride. And what I liked about this, you actually got to see people in their home environment. Now, just be aware, you are going to look like a bit of a celebrity there with the motorcycle. Most of the bikes over there, they're scooters or small capacities. These are mid-capacity bikes. A lot of kids will even get the adults like him to take your photo and even film you in some places. Now, I did love riding. You can see people with loaded up scooters just going about their day's work. The roads were, as I said earlier, they ranged between very good to a bit rough. Now, one of the great things about this guided tour was they took us to eat at some local warungs. If I'm being honest, if I was riding on my own, there is no way I would have stopped there to have a look. And in cases like that, you are really missing out. So that's what I loved about the tour. They'll take you to places that you wouldn't normally stop at. You try the food and it was great. I had no issue. And when you got a glass guts like mine, you do get a little cautious eating the food, but everything I had on the trip, no problem. Coming into the end of the day, there was a little off-road section that you have the option of taking, and, well, I did. It's not too hard, but it's just something a bit different, breaks up the road a little bit, and you have the option of either doing it or not doing it. You meet up back on the road before heading to your accommodation, and look at that sunset. It's just fantastic. The accommodation we stayed at was more in line with a local accommodation, and I really liked it. It just gave a good feel. It was nice to experience a more traditional style of accommodation in Indonesia. And I've got to say, the bed I slept on was the comfiest bed of the whole trip. All right, so we've had a bit of a rain on day 4, Tuesday, whatever it was. But things are going to be a little bit wet today. So it's meant to clear up, so we'll see how it goes. So that brings us to the next question. What weather gear should I have? Well, I just bought this very thin jacket. It was a Dainese. I used it all of twice on the trip and for no more than 30 minutes. Now, after it finished rain, I didn't even bother getting the pants out, and I did have some thin pants as well, but never used them. I just waited for the weather to dry up, and because it's warm there and you're riding, the wind just dries the pants off. So, yep, it's one of those cases. It's good to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. This will probably never be used again, but maybe at home I should keep it on the bike just in case. But don't spend an absolute fortune on it, especially if you won't use it much at home. So we head out to this savannah, and you have the option of riding it or not riding it. If you're not really comfy in the dirt, you can just have a nice rest on the side of the road and let the others go off and just ride the dirt. Now, I had a lot of fun riding through it. It was just breaks up the road a little bit. You don't really go anywhere. It's just out to the end and then back again, but it was just a bit of fun. You do get some really good footage. Word of warning though, make sure your water bottle is secured, otherwise this happens. Ready?
Yeah, go for it. That's a lot of water.
Yeah, I don't know if the iPhone rated it.
The iPhone, what phone is it?
11.
I think they're waterproof for a while, aren't they?
But not the end of the world, and yes, the phone did survive. I'm still using it to this day. After that little Savannah-esque off-road run, we headed into a town and we stopped just outside of a school, and we were invited in, and we got absolutely mobbed by the school kids that were excited to see us. Truly a unique experience. I'd never experienced anything like that before, and yeah, it was very different. Now, the accommodation we stayed at next was fantastic, and I can't believe I didn't get any footage of it. I could have swore I filmed it. It was my favorite accommodation of the whole trip, and believe me, that was a high standard. Anyway, that's pretty much it from me. Thanks very much for watching, and if you like this episode, check out more of my Indonesia videos right here.